I think we're ready to go. You guys ready downstairs? I think they probably are. Okay, so welcome everyone to the February 26th meeting of the Hyde Park Town Board. It's our regular meeting in our workshop, and it's nice to see people out in the audience. Thank you for coming. So please join me while we pledge allegiance to our flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, may I have a motion to accept the minutes of the February 5th meeting?
Make a motion.
And a second? And all in favor?
Aye.
Okay, so I think what I'll do is, if it's okay with the board, move the public comment to after the workshops. Is that okay?
Sure. Certainly.
All right, good. Because I don't really want to make everyone wait around a long time for these things. So the first item on our workshop agenda is a presentation of a plaque from the Hyde Park PBA to Jeff LADUE of Just-in-Time Towing for his heroic actions on December 16th, 2017. So, Rob, would you like to kind of join us at the podium and tell us what happened?
Thank you. I just want to thank everyone for allowing us a little bit of time tonight in your busy meeting. I know you have a large agenda tonight. I just want to thank you for giving a little bit of time. We wanted to present an award tonight to not only one of our residents, but also a business owner here in the town of Hyde Park. On December 17th, at about 4:07 a.m., Officer Christopher Miller was conducting a traffic stop. Officer Miller was working a DWI saturation patrol that night on Albany Post Road near the drive-in. The vehicle was traveling northbound. He was assisted by Officer PLAQUE, came to assist him on that vehicle and traffic stop. During the time of that stop, the driver was arrested for driving while intoxicated. So Officer Miller proceeded back to the police station to begin processing, and Officer PLAQUE stayed at the scene with the vehicle until the impound tow truck arrived. That night on the list, it was Just-in-Time Towing, owner-operator Jeff LADUE. He arrived at the scene a short time later. While he was securing the vehicle and towing the vehicle from the scene, Officer PLAQUE was providing lighting and stuff so he could hook up the car, in the middle of the night. While he was doing that, Jeff LADUE all of a sudden looked up and looked southbound and saw a vehicle traveling at a high rate of speed towards the officer and also himself on the side of the road. Jeff LADUE, without hesitation, grabbed Officer PLAQUE and pulled him out of the roadway as his vehicle sped northbound and just narrowly missed hitting our patrol car, and then definitely would have hit Officer PLAQUE. If it wasn't for his heroic actions and his quick reflexes, Officer PLAQUE would have been struck by that vehicle that night. In 2017, 9 police officers were struck on the side of the road, either at auto accidents or vehicle and traffic stops. If it wasn't for the quick actions and heroic efforts by Jeff LADUE, that number would have increased by 1 that night, and that would have been Officer PLAQUE. So I personally want to thank Jeff LADUE from me, personally, from the bottom of my heart, for his actions that night. And also the PBA wants to thank him by presenting him with a little token of our appreciation. I'm going to have members of the PBA Executive Board come forward. Jeff, please come forward. Plaque reads, presented to Jeff LADUE, we thank you for your courageous act in saving the life of our brother in blue, Officer Michael PLAQUE. From the members of the Hyde Park PBA, December 17, 2017. Jeff, thank you.
Thank you.
Officer PLAQUE, would you like to say something?
Yeah.
Jeff, I'm just really glad that it was you there that night. Undoubtedly, I would have been struck by that vehicle if you weren't there to pull me out of the way. So thank you for being there. Thank you for being you. I appreciate it.
Not for nothing, he was drunk too.
That is true.
Drunk, I don't know if
Subsequent
they
traffic
got
stop yielded a DWI arrest of that.
Yeah, so Officer PLAQUE quickly regained his wits about him, conducted a vehicle and traffic stop within a mile of that scene, and that operator went back to the police station and gave a BAC, blood alcohol content, of double the legal limit.
Ah,
So that one traffic stop yielded 2 drunk drivers. And again, if it wasn't for Jeff's actions, we would have had an officer at least injured that night.
Well, we at the town board would also like to offer our thanks, Jeff. We really appreciate what you did and what our police officers do every night. Thank you. Thank you all. Yeah.
easy is.
Yeah.
Judge a book by its cover. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thanks
Thank
a
you,
lot.
all of you. Okay. Thank you very much. Good to see you. Okay.
It's nice to have a nice story.
Yeah, such a nice story. Absolutely. Very nice.
Number 1 all year. Jeff, let me get one. Jesus, he is a big guy.
Okay. So the next item on our workshop agenda is regarding a request from the Industrial Development Agency to weigh in on a application from Bellefield for some of the IDA benefits that they can offer for the hotel. So I'm sure everyone is apprised that the Bellefield project is progressing. The status of it right now is that they have conditional site plan approval from the planning board, and they are working their way through all the conditions so that they can proceed with construction. And I believe that they're hoping for this summer or late summer, early fall to progress with the construction of the first part of the project, which is the hotel. So many people in town may not realize that the town has an adopted 485B policy, which is a graduated system of introducing the current assessment as compared to the prior assessments. So it's over a 10-year period, and year one, it's 50% that they pay the difference between what the property was assessed at and what it would currently be assessed at with the improvements. That's right, Warren? Yep. And so the town actually, I think they adopted this policy back under Pompey Bellefield, and the state also has a 485B, as does the county. So that would be a standard perk, so to speak, that they would be able to avail themselves of. But they are applying to the IDA for, in addition to the standard pilot, the standard 485B is an exemption on sales tax during the period of construction only, which is about they give them a period of about a year and a half to 2 years. And during that time, they won't pay sales tax on the construction materials. And then also a exemption from the mortgage tax, and that would just be for the first mortgage that's written and not subsequent ones. So they reached out to us, the IDA, asking for a letter of support, and you know, I really wanted to bring everyone up to speed on it and get your input, and so that's why we put it on the agenda. I did write a letter today that I would like to send, assuming that the board is on board. But the computers were down, so I was not able to print it. So I actually had to handwrite it. Can you imagine? So I'm looking for everybody's input on that. And Warren, I don't know if you have any further explanation.
You described it perfectly.
Okay.
Yeah.
And really, this is available to any business that invests in our town, that invests more than $50,000 in the improvements to the property. So it's a great incentive to encourage redevelopment, and we're glad, I personally am glad that they are going to use this in order to be able to complete the project. I did speak, yeah, go ahead, sure.
Because I mean,
Yeah.
I think it took me a little while to wrap my mind
Sure.
around that. You know, basically whatever the assessment is right now today, whatever the property taxes are, they're not going to pay any less than that.
Right.
So it's not, it doesn't go down from there. It's just that rather than going up all of a sudden to the new assessed value,
Right.
There's an increase over a period of years up to that new assessed value to give the business time to get underway and get
Right.
profitable.
Yep.
Which, you know, it kind of makes sense when you're trying to help new businesses get started.
Sure.
That's a way to help increase our tax base, but also make it practical for them.
Right.
So through the town, anyone can apply, like you said, for the 485B and have that that phase-in period just through the town. But if they go to the IDA, in addition to that, they can also get those other benefits. So I would support that.
Well, in addition, they could be seeking a higher level of IDA benefits and enhanced. There's a higher level, and they are not doing that, which I'm also glad about.
The mortgage tax, I mean, that is a bit of a concern, though, because the mortgage taxes that they pay do come back directly to the town, right?
That's right, yeah. So that is something that we will experience it's not really a loss, because as you say, we don't have it.
Right.
We'll experience a potential loss from that mortgage revenue, and we do count on the mortgage revenue. It's a valuable contribution to the town because it is a direct contribution as opposed to sales tax, which that just goes all into a giant pot at the county level, and then it's distributed via population. And so we always get our piece based on our 22,000 population, but the mortgage tax goes directly to the municipalities. So, you know, it's kind of a matter of, do you believe in the project? Are you trying to incentivize a change in Hyde Park? And I think we really all are. We all really believe in that. And for this project in particular, I have to say that they have volunteered to make a $1,250,000 contribution to our own commercial sewer district. So when you take that figure, I mean, that's a pretty substantial amount, though the sewer district is going to be substantially more than that. But yet, this is kind of like seed money for us to really leverage the rest of the project and to get things going. And you know, one of the things that I appreciate about this project, and I allude to it in my letter, is that in addition to igniting the site and attracting additional tourism uses, it is consistent with our zoning, which really has identified that part of our community as the place to really locate tourist-type businesses. And I think the designers of our original zoning back in 2005, I believe it was passed, you know, really thought long and hard about how do we create business in a place that won't necessarily hurt the existing business community. And the zoning was written to require it to be 50% of the development there to be tourism based, and a hotel certainly is. So I think that one of the complexities of people looking to generate or create businesses in Hyde Park or any community really is to understand what the zoning is and what the town is desiring to achieve by the zoning and comply with it from the beginning. And I feel that, you know, this project, a hotel in this location, is really the right use for it, and in addition to it being consistent with the zoning and the comprehensive plan, it's also that it will bring additional people into Hyde Park. And you know, one of the things that we always talk about is that we have lots of people who drive through our community, who stop at our tourist sites, but don't really stay. And so to have you know, we have a number of lovely hotels and bed and breakfast, and we very much appreciate what they contribute to our economy. And I think expanding it will be beneficial overall. So Dave, I know you
I'm
have
very,
feel.
very happy to see this move along like it is. You know, it's been years and years and years that I've heard different plans that were going to go in there, and then they all used to collapse, whether it was the economy or they didn't have the money or what. This outfit seems to have the resources, and if we can help any business, like you said, it's available to all business owners in town. If
Yeah.
they improve their property, they can ask for this. So it's money we don't have now, and we're going to get it. It's not like they're going to be tax-free. They'll be paying the taxes they pay now on the unimproved property. It's a great incentive to kick it over the top, probably, and it's going to be great for Hyde Park. Not only Hyde Park, but Dutchess County, and it's going to bring more people into Hyde Park who wouldn't normally come, maybe, and that we come up through the village and partake of the businesses there, too. They'll be driving around. They won't be driving through, just say, I'm all for it.
Okay, great. And Emily, did you have further comments?
Well,
or-
I'm 100% behind it as far as the hotel, and I think this is a great project, and to the extent that we can help get it off the ground, we should. My only comment is just really thinking not just about this project, but that if we're setting a precedent with the IDA on other projects, I am a little concerned about the loss of the mortgage tax revenue, because that has been something that's been lagging in recent years in Hyde Park. And my understanding is that when businesses go to the IDA to apply for this package, they pay some sort of a fee for that. And I would just be interested in talking to the IDA and see if there's some way that they can share some of that back with us to make up for that loss of the mortgage tax, because that is something that's important to the town.
So would you like me to incorporate that in the letter to them?
I mean, that's just my opinion.
We want
but-
They can ask.
We want our money.
Well, it's just that this might, there are other projects in
Yeah.
the works that may also be going
Right,
to the IDA,
right.
and
Exactly.
if we don't put our hand out, we're
Good
not,
point.
Yeah.
Good
Yeah.
point.
we might not get it, but it's worth
Okay,
asking.
I'll put that in the letter. But
Okay.
I mean, I basically wrote a support letter, and so we'll add that to it.
Put a PS on there.
Yes. P.S.
P.S. Emily wants-
Emily wants her money. So
Well, it's
she-
not just, I mean, this
No.
is how we pay for services.
Well,
that
no doubt
help the
about
community
it.
to thrive and grow. So,
Absolutely,
yeah.
and
Exactly,
part
yeah.
of the reason we all look to expand our commercial activity is because we want to see an increase in our tax base.
Right, so that
And
there's less
so that
burden
there's
on
less
homeowners.
burden on-
So
right, exactly.
It's not really fair to not, at
Right.
least try to get what we can.
So, just to make the formula a little bit more clear, that for the first 3 years, the property pays 50% of the new assessed value. Year 4 is 40%. Year 5 is, actually, it must be the reduction, right? Because it wouldn't
Yeah.
be paid, yes, the
They'd be
reduction.
paying nothing.
Yes, the reduction of 30, 20 in year 6. Year 7 is 10, 8 and 9 is also 10, and then year 10 is 5%. So
And then in year 11,
they're
full
at their
Full,
full, yeah. So, Joe, do you have any thoughts on that?
No, I remember from the open house, they said how we didn't have enough of accommodations for all the tourists
Yeah.
that come through here. So I definitely think the long-range benefits of the motel outweighs a little bit that we're going to have to suffer through for the first 10 years.
Well, I did have a conversation with the developers about it, and, of course, they have a position that, these type of IDA benefits really can make a project work that wouldn't work ordinarily.
Right.
So especially as Emily identified, it's those early years that are difficult because there are so many expenses that they're juggling, and even with the hotel, it's going to take some time for them to really get their rooms filled because it, just the whole building the momentum. So,
Right.
but I'm glad I had talked to Ken personally. He told me he was going to be here, and he also supported it. So if everyone's okay with that, then I will send a letter tomorrow.
Great.
And then, but as Emily said, there's probably going to be other projects because I think, there's been a lot of buzz created in Hyde Park recently, and the governor was in Hyde Park, not in Hyde Park, but in Poughkeepsie on Thursday, where he talked about the Saki development on the corner of St. Andrews and Route 9 in the former Stop and Shop. And we are you know, things are, I actually had a call from a developer today on another parcel on Route 9, and so it's, I think it's good times for us. And as Emily mentioned, that particular project, the Asahi Shuzo, is that how?
I think that's right.
Yeah, something like that. For the sake manufacturing plant, it's projected that that will create 32 jobs. It's a $28 million project. They are planning a tasting room in addition to the actual manufacturing plant. So it's interesting. They have not yet applied to the IDA. They are getting something called Excelsior tax credits. That's a package from New York State. And you know, we have not had a lot of discussions with the property developers as of yet. They're in Japan, and we've had a couple of informal conversations with the architects and that type of thing. And we did have discussions. I've had 2 separate ones. One, of course, with Ron Hicks, the Deputy County Executive for Economic Development, and also with the Culinary Institute, trying to understand the partnership that has been described. And they both said very unequivocally that the culinary will not have an ownership position in the parcel. So I find that reassuring, and I think it's really, again, we'll see what happens, whether they go to the IDA. If they don't go to the IDA, they're still due the 485B, but it's actually interesting because in 6 years, well, this is mine and Emily and Ken's 7th year, we haven't had anyone apply for this, so I think that's just a really good sign for our town. So there will certainly be more about the sake manufacturing, and they will not need approvals from the town board, and that we can foresee. So that project will be before the planning board when they do submit. They had said the end of March for a submittal, but we really don't know. But you know, at that time it will be the planning board that will be holding the public hearings, and the public will definitely have an opportunity to comment on that. But you know, for us, it's another empty building filled, and the issue with that particular property, as most people know, that Stop and Shop had a very narrow uses that they would allow at that location.
Well, they still owned it, so I mean, a number of people approached them to buy it, right, or lease it, and they would not do that because they saw it as competition.
Right. So anything that was sold by Stop and Shop, basically.
They don't sell sake for it.
So yeah, they don't sell sake there. So I guess that was the only reason that deal went down.
But it's really exciting to have a manufacturing facility in Hyde Park with new jobs and another thing for tourists to come here for. Not only tourists coming from outside the region, but even people from other communities in the Hudson Valley that are interested in coming and seeing that. I think I'm really excited about it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we'll see that as it unfolds. So Warren, did you have anything?
I just wanted to
add?
clarify, there might have been some confusion. With the IDA, the exemption is coming through the IDA, not 485A. 485B, but it's identical.
Right.
So,
Okay, yeah. But I guess it's easily, I could have easily confused that issue because I basically said it's the same type of thing that we could offer without the IDA. Is
That's
that right?
correct.
Okay, good.
That's correct.
Good. Okay. So we kind of skipped over the public comment on the resolutions only. So if anyone would like to comment on any of the resolutions, please come on up to the podium. Okay. All right. So we have a number of resolutions on, and Emily, would you like to go ahead and start?
Sure. Resolution 226-1 of 2018, resolution authorizing Highway Superintendent Howard Fisher to attend the Cornell Local Roads Program 2018 Spring Workshops. And I see he's picked out 3 great workshops.
Yeah, good.
Thrilled that you're going, Howard.
And a second?
second.
And all in favor?
Aye.
Howie, do you want to come up to the podium for any? Okay, at some point, very.
Thank you.
Well,
Thank you for taking
it's
the
good to
time to
see
do
you
that.
here,
Yeah.
and you know, at some point, very soon, we'll have a workshop, and kind of talk about a lot of the things that you want to do and that we want to help you do. Okay, thanks for coming out tonight, Howie.
Thanks.
And then Dave, go ahead.
Resolution 226-2 of 2018, a resolution authorizing Craig S. Myers to perform all administrative duties as outlined below in the absence of Highway Superintendent Howard Fisher.
Second?
And all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
And thanks to Craig for stepping up for you, Howie, that's good.
Resolution 226-3 of 2018, resolution authorizing Building Inspector Don Westermeyer to attend the Hudson Valley Code Enforcement Officials Educational Conference, April 18th through the 20th, 2018.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Resolution 226-4 of 2018, resolution approving budget revisions to the Town of Hyde Park for the period January 2018, budget revisions number 2018-01.
Second.
And all in favor?
Aye.
Resolution 225-5 of 2018, resolution reappointing Charles Kramer to the Town of Hyde Park Board of Ethics.
Second?
And all in favor?
Aye.
And thanks to Father Chuck for stepping up to that.
Resolution 226-6 of 2018, resolution commencing the local law adoption process for local law number A of 2016 entitled A Local Law to Amend Chapter 100, Article 6 by adding a new subsection 100-22 to extend the Cold War veterans exemption.
Second.
And Warren, did you want to review that quickly?
Yeah,
or-
and basically there was a sunset provision, a 10-year sunset provision, both in the state law and our local law for providing for the Cold War veterans exemption, and now the state has amended that by allowing municipalities to extend the exemption for as long as the property owner is eligible for the exemption. So there's no 10-year if the town adopts that, there would be no 10-year sunset provision. So that's what we're adopting.
Okay, good.
As long as they
And-
live there, they'll have it.
Yeah.
Okay. And all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
I think there's a typo.
Resolution 226-7 of 2018, resolution authorizing the town supervisor to proclaim the month of April 2018 as Parkinson's Awareness Month for the town of Hyde Park.
Second.
And all in favor?
Aye.
Resolution 226-5 of 2018, resolution authorizing the town supervisor to execute an agreement between the town of Hyde Park and Hyde Park Soccer, Inc. for the term January 1, 2018 through December 31, 2018.
Second?
And all in favor?
Aye.
Resolution 226-9 of 2018, resolution amending the Town of Hyde Park fee schedule for the Recreation Department to include the facility use fee schedule for 2018.
Second.
And all in favor?
Aye.
Resolution 226-10 of 2018, resolution authorizing the town of Hyde Park Recreation Director to purchase a replacement commercial-sized refrigerator for the Hyde Park Recreation Department.
Second.
And all in favor?
Aye.
Resolution 226-11 of 2018, resolution authorizing the further extension of contract between the town of Hyde Park and Morris Associates for engineering services on an interim basis.
Second?
And all in favor?
Aye. Resolution 226-12 of 2018, resolution authorizing the town supervisor to send a letter of support to the Dutchess County Industrial Development Agency in support of the T. Rex Shaner Hyde Park Hotel LLC project.
Second?
And all in favor?
Aye.
Oh. Oh, okay, yes, thanks, Dave. Okay, and I'd like to ask the board to add a resolution to the agenda to appoint David Ray to represent the town of Hyde Park at the DCTC March 8th meeting.
Could we just make it so that either Dave or I could
Okay, yeah,
represent you
yeah,
at
that's a
any
good
time
idea.
throughout the year?
Yeah, that's much more efficient, isn't it?
Or
Yeah, that-
Joe if he wants to. But I sometimes go to those
Yeah,
too,
so it's just to represent the town of Hyde Park at the DCTC
voting meetings.
voting meetings, or even any others, or just,
Sure,
yeah.
yeah.
Okay. So, may I have a motion to add that to the agenda?
So moved?
And a second?
Second.
And all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay,
Do I
and
have to
then
make the motion?
now, you
I
want to
make
make
the
the motion to, go ahead.
Yep. Oh, I make a motion that we do the resolution you just said.
Very well.
Okay, and do I have a second?
Second.
And all in favor?
Aye.
How you going?
And then just a couple other items that the teen center is back on, right? That's going to be
This
in
Friday.
March. This Friday, okay.
This
then.
Friday, yep.
And that'll be the last one until October?
Until October, yes. And in
Okay.
fact, this was an extra one because we had to stop a month in the fall. We added an extra one in March, so, but then that'll be it until October.
Great. And then Dave, I know you're working with Shannon Butler, our new town historian.
plaque, yes.
On the plaque,
Yes.
so.
Probably go see her tomorrow.
Okay, and so that we can anticipate for the spring, hopefully,
Memorial Day.
Memorial
That's what we're
Day.
shooting at, yep.
All right, good.
Got a plan that works.
So, at our last meeting, we had a discussion about the website, and that we were putting together the project team, which Joe has volunteered to be on, to implement the new website that we are creating for the town, which is really very exciting and really good for our public image out there in the world. And if you recall, we had a discussion with Kathleen Davis about her seeking an additional website for the trails. And she did have a conversation with the Civic Plus, who we are using for our own website, to add a feature that would incorporate the Trails page into our website, but they would have their own presence. What is it, a URL?
Yeah,
So,
URL.
so she did get a price of $3,500 for them to do that. And so that's within the $3,700 budget that was allowed through the Greenway grant. So I don't know what we need to do to allow her to do that. I'm not sure if there's any type, would we have to comply with any type of, because we didn't necessarily put that out for proposals separately. This
Should
would-
probably check with Greenway, right?
Yeah, that's
See if
kinda
they
what
have
it-
Yeah, see what
any-
they
Yeah,
want.
I did tell
Make sure we don't
Kathleen.
impair the grant, they may have
Yeah.
a requirement.
Right, that you would have to go out, but I guess,
I
and that's.
doubt it, though, I think.
Yeah, because we did go out for RFP for the entire project,
Yeah,
so.
I think we're okay, we're covered there.
Okay, all right, good. Well, so that seems to be progressing nicely then.
That's great,
Yeah,
yeah.
good, all right.
Good.
So, anything else then, or no? Okay.
Well, sort of a related thing, the scenic resource grant that we got a while ago and haven't gotten off the ground, the 3 planning board members stepped up to take that and run with it. And we're hoping to use the county's GIS services to get that done, which would be what reminded me of it is that grant was okay to use the county without going through an RFP
okay.
process.
Oh, well, that's
But I'm
good.
glad to see that project moving forward.
Good.
I'm grateful that they picked that up.
Yeah, and on Friday past, we had the walkthrough with DOT on our TAP project, our sidewalk project, and they were really very pleased. There were only a couple of very minor items that had to be revised. They had to use epoxy paint and put different kinds of attachments to the signage. But overall, that's really on track for completion. The project was complete, but the paperwork has a long
Yeah,
legacy,
yeah.
unfortunately.
Yeah.
But that was reassuring to know that DOT was pleased, so.
Good.
Alrighty, so may I have a motion to adjourn then?
Make a motion to adjourn.
And-
Second?
And all in favor?
Aye.